Hi everyone and welcome to another episode of Trip on Multiverse with your host, the man who killed my own twin brother so that I could later make him go insane, Kyle Charles, and
the man who gets killed, gets his face cut off, gets his face put back on, and gets killed later again, CY Chung.
And we are gonna speak about Gotham, as CY only recently watched it. I watched it when it first came out.
I watched it when it came out, took a big break because I thought this is not what I was expecting, and then decided, you know what, let me just I really started it, let me finish it only recently. Yeah.
If I'm honest, it's better than I expected it to be. If I was honest, I didn't watch it at first. Yeah. I started watching it season 2, so I went back and started watching it season 1 because my friends like, oh yeah, it's pretty good, so I watched it. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I tell you what got me about this. So Gotham TV show from 2014 to 2019 actually got 5 seasons.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a strange one because, as you know, Batman lore, he there's criminals in Gotham, and he's like, all right, I'll fight these mobster criminal corrupt cops and stuff like that, clean it all up, and then that's when in Long Halloween the so-called freaks start coming out to work because they see, oh, the Batman, is now just like in the Dark Knight movie, right? A new breed of criminal.
Yeah.
Except and this show did it the other way around. I initially couldn't get around that because I'm like, but all this Batman lore says, since I've been reading, says the other way around.
Yeah,
I was like, how can these people be around before him? It makes no sense because aren't they? He makes them. So then I was like, okay, you know what? Later on when I rewatched it, because I was like, all right, let me give it a second chance. And I'm like, all right, actually, it's quite an interesting take that it's them that made him.
Yeah.
Even though I was like, but you can make a Gotham show about the criminals, corrupt cops, and all that stuff, and you don't need those certain particular villains.
Yeah.
Because you could have the rise of Oswald Cobblepot to becoming the Penguin, which would make sense, which kind of is what they did, but they kind of didn't-ish, because he already was Penguin at a certain point. He became Penguin way too soon, because there's a 10 years time skip at the very last episode.
Yeah.
Which then places kind of everyone was supposed to be, but not. I will say the Penguin, the actor's fine, right? Penguin is a very slim man here, even though in the comics he's short and stout. And at the very end, after the 10 years time skip, they stuffed like a pillow into the front of his suit. So his proportion looks really off key because it's like, it's not like he's wide or big like Thor's fat suit, which would have made sense.
Yeah.
No, it's the front half of him pops out, goes inside a belt. Well, not inside a belt, but gets pulled in by a belt, and then the other bottom half of him comes out, so it looks like a B, like sideways B shape.
Yeah.
It's
I just thought they did that for fan service, just as like, we've done it now, leave us alone, sort of thing. That's how I saw that point. I was like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. I did enjoy its own little take on like the Batman mythos. If that's the word. Yeah, like, okay, you don't play fast and loose with it. Because like you initially, I was like, nah, this doesn't make no sense because when he's Batman, all these people are going to be like 10 years older than him, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Then I just thought, it's like, you know what? They're just doing what they're thing. I'm just going to go with it. And then once I got over that little stump, I was like, I enjoy the show because it is bat crap insane.
Yes. Yeah. Except that Ben McKenzie, who plays Jim Gordon, plays it straight through the entire thing, which makes it, I don't know if it makes it, like, I think it makes it even more insane because there's one guy in a world where everything else is completely different from him.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, the guy playing Bruce Wayne plays it straight as well, and Alfred. But it's like Jim Gordon's in the majority. I think every single episode.
Yeah, probably like 1 or 2. He's probably not in, but he's literally.
And everyone else kind of acknowledges the stuff going on around him, and Jim Gordon's still just playing it as a crime drama, if you know what I mean. It's like, all right, okay.
A crime drama with people like Victor Saz, who's just over the top. Yeah, loved it.
During the first season when I saw the Riddler, well, Edward Nigma, who's a what's it called? Is it forensic scientist? Yeah.
Forensic
And I was like,
scientist.
yeah, I was gonna say mortician, but that wasn't right.
No, that
And I was like,
was the woman he fell
and
in love
then
with.
he's all given the clues, like he's asking them riddles before he gives them like what evidence to get. And it's just like, yeah, okay, but you're pushing this too hard too quickly because we know where he's gonna end up, yeah, and you're just basically telling us, yeah, where he's gonna be. He's this already, and it's like, yeah, but that's. I did like how, by the way, he started becoming the actual Riddler because he kind of got rejected, right?
Yeah.
He got, and then the boyfriend of the girl was like, standard high school bully tactics and stuff, and then, I don't want to say he has a split personality that takes over, but it's just like there's Edward Nigma and there's the Riddler.
Yeah, who he basically becomes at the end, isn't it? It's
yeah, and there's like a divide between them.
Yeah,
but not, and it's similar to like, okay, well, is this Two-Face and Harvey Dent? Except that I think Harvey Dent is like in the first season of this, and you never see him again.
Yeah.
Which is weird because you're like, all right, I know they don't. He probably won't become Two-Face, but at the rate this show is going, maybe he will.
Yeah, who knows?
But he just, he doesn't make any appearance. Not even in, like, for example, the last, like they could have built the friendship of Jim Gordon, Bruce Wayne, and Harvey Dent, and then during the last season, that's when he gets his face done. But they just were like, oh no, this guy actually doesn't exist anymore. Kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Retcon that existence sort of thing. Yeah.
What did you think of Fish Mooney? What they're original characters, right?
Yeah.
What's Fish Mooney about? It was like, okay, she's the she was like not the penguin before penguin, but the mob boss, that's the leader of the outliers kind of thing, the people that aren't quite the mobsters.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, okay, but who goes around being called Fish?
Like, they never gave it like a background to why she was called Fish, which is a bit weird. But anyway, and I didn't mind the character. She did kind of at some point overstay her welcome, but she.
I'll tell you what. Who got the biggest switch / upgrade / insanity buster was Barbara Keene, aka Jim Gordon's wife. I'm like,
biggest. Yeah.
So all you're known for in the comics is being the wife of Jim Gordon. Yeah.
Yeah.
So where did the
ex-wife?
Yeah. Yeah. And the father, the mother of Barbara Gordon, but maybe not, right? Depending. Yeah. And somehow she's killed her own parents, kind of, but under some insanity, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Then she becomes a mob leader. She becomes the second Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah.
Becomes some sort of crazy assassin lady with, and it's just like, wow, hold on a sec. Because when I was watching it, like, they're just trying to make her like Harlequin, but not. Because that's the vibes I'm getting here.
Yeah.
It's not Barbara Gordon / Barbara Keene. It's just like, it's their version of Harlequin, except later on they have another character.
Yeah.
Which works with. Well, you can't call him the Joker because he's not supposed to be the Joker, but he is the Joker, right?
Yeah. For legal
and
reasons.
she is also a Harlequin, which is really okay, right, all right.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, that's what you're saying. Basically, yeah. Yeah, sure. I guess for legal reasons we can't make you Harlequin because of TV's, because of studio stuff. Yeah, well, it's weird.
Yeah. Yeah. That's. I mean, I don't know. Me and you really want to get to the Joker bits, but we'll come up with things first and then get to that at the end.
Yeah.
Not at the end, but towards the middle or something like that. Because we're just going to be like, okay, this is going to take the main meat off of it. But let's. So, which season did you enjoy the most?
Which season did I enjoy the most? Probably season 3.
Season 3 with The Court of Owls.
Yeah. that
Actually,
stuff.
okay. You know what was funny about season 3 was in that during that time of the Batman comics, the Joker had his face cut off, and the
Was it
quote
during that
unquote.
time? I thought it was before that.
Well, yeah. I think it's during that period ish, kind of. Because he had his face cut off in
At the start
the
of
Rebirth, right?
yeah, at the start, yeah.
And then, but they didn't conclude the death of the family storyline until way later on after that, right? So it's between
I
that
don't
period.
think so. I think it might be before that because
Oh, really?
Death of the Family is like, I want to say a year and a bit into Rebirth.
Okay, maybe
Yeah,
it was
it's
the
quite
20.
early in there.
Yeah,
It's quite
yeah.
early.
Maybe it was the 25th issue thing that they were going for. But yeah, this is where Jerome had. So he died, but didn't really die because he got brought back by the Court of Owls.
Yeah.
And then he got his face sewn back on.
Yeah.
Oh no, he had used the face of Jerome as the calling card or some craziness. Like I was like, oh my goodness, what? But then I was like, you know what? That's when you're when I'm with the show. I'm like, this stuff is crazy, right? So let it be as crazy as it can be.
Yeah.
And then at the end of that storyline, where they kind of combine it with Killing Joke, where Jerome is not trying to drive Bruce insane, but he's brought him to the the circus wherever it is.
Yeah.
And Jim Gordon then rescues Bruce Wayne, and he punches off Jerome's face. Oh, it's like what? Okay.
Yeah. This is why I love this show. It's
Yeah. But I have to say, so, and the rest of season 3, where it's who's behind the Court of Owls, and then it's like, oh, why don't we add someone else to behind the story? Ra's al Ghul's behind him. Like, oh, okay, the League of Shadows. Oh, right, okay.
yeah,
Okay.
sure, okay. Yeah.
I mean, they're usually separate, right? Well, I think they are definitively separate, and you could have made 2 separate storylines with that. I suppose combining them does make sense, but then, right, because Ra's al Ghul's been around for centuries as well as the Court of Owls, so you kind of make it make sense, I suppose.
Yeah. It kind of makes sense. Yeah.
But I was like, okay, if you, I mean, I suppose why not, right?
Yeah. Okay. I guess. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Insanity. Yeah. Sure.
Yep. In fact, that first half of the season was called Mad City. So yeah, all right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Had the little chapter bit in it because season 3 kind of gets split into 2, part A and part B, Mad City and Hero Rises. Yeah.
Which I suppose, look, here's the thing, right? What would have made the most sense to me is you have if they like if they're 13 not procedurals, because this kind of went in that direction when it started. It's like, oh, police procedural just with Gotham style characters.
Yeah.
But you could have done a good police show just about one guy caught in the massive corruption and trying to clean it out. You didn't need to bring in the villains to, not those villains, but you could have still used mobsters for a while. But I think what they were like, we have the rights to these characters, so why don't we use them? And I'm like, I suppose that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think they should have played more into, though, if they were going to do the case where these villains are around, and that's why Batman ends up coming about. They should have not telegraphed that at the beginning, but be like, okay, this is the direction we're going. Rather than it came off like, oh, we can use these characters, and some of them we can't, right? But people expect them to be in the series, so let's have them. And it's like, all right, you know.
See, like I've always said, like the problem with things like Batman and stuff, you need. It's kind of a catch-22. If you don't use certain parts of the source material, people's going to complain. If you use too much of it, people's going to complain. It's like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. So,
yeah. I also will say, in season 3, another as a character. So Bruce had a clone.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I don't know. I have to say I don't know what. Okay, the Court of Owls. This is what I recall when watching it. It was like, it kind of makes sense, but also does not make sense because you kind of just leave it hanging.
Yeah.
They have a fake Bruce Wayne that was created, so they could take the real Bruce Wayne, swap them out, then corrupt the real Bruce Wayne. All right, and I think the clone takes over Bruce Wayne's life a little bit.
Yeah.
Then he gets discovered by Selena Kyle and Alfred. He somehow managed to fool Alfred for a long while.
Yeah.
Whatever, right? And while Bruce is being corrupted, quote unquote, by the Sensei, who is not Ra's al Ghul's dad in this one.
No. He's actually called the Shaman, but
is it?
Yeah.
I thought it was the yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, the Shaman / the Sensei, or just like?
I think he's loosely based on it, but he was called the Shaman in this series. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
then I think at the end of the season, when the clone's done with being discovered, and then Selena Kyle or someone calling him trash and saying, basically destroys mentality, right?
Yeah.
You're nothing, you're fake, you're not the real Bruce Wayne, the standard, right?
And then pushes her out the window,
Yeah, well, something like that, right? He pushed her out the window so she replicates Batman Returns.
Yep.
But yeah, then after he just gets discovered, that's it. His storyline done. He disappears. He does have nosebleed, so I just assume he dies from a nosebleed because they can't control those. The clone DNA is not 100% or whatever it is, unstable. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
But they never mention him again. Don't even say they discovered his body or nothing. He just disappears.
It just disintegrates probably. That's what clones tend to do, I guess. Yeah.
You said Clone Saga clones from Spider-Man, right?
Yes, that's what they do. They just disappear into dust.
Yeah.
But isn't this also in season 3 where one of the best characters ever, the Executioner, is born?
Is that season 3 or 4?
I think it's season 3.
Oh, hold on. You mean Michael Chiklis? When you say born, right? He was, what was he before? Was he one of the, not the mayor of Gotham or something like that? But
no,
he was
think he was like sergeant of. Oh no, he was some high up in the police.
Yeah.
And he comes and goes, "I'm gonna clean up this town," and then he gets Tesh's blood. So say Manhunter's sister's blood in him because her blood's tainted and turns people insane, and he just went nuts.
Yeah, and then he we're like, oh yeah, well, I'm gonna execute someone. Pure justice, right?
Yeah. It's hilarious.
Oh my goodness, he goes insane. He goes nuts.
Yeah.
Basically, just like I'm gonna kill everybody.
Yeah, you're like, oh, okay, that escalated quickly. Cool.
Yeah,
right.
yeah, because he got infected, right?
Yeah.
By and then the Court of Owls tried to use him to kill Jim Gordon.
Yeah. Because Jim Gordon's dad was a part of the Court of Owls as well.
Yeah. Our boy, what's it called? James Brumar.
Yeah.
No, that's his uncle. Sorry. Yeah.
Frank Gordon. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, okay. And then then his uncle killed himself, and then I had to pretend that Jim killed him because then Jim could infiltrate the Court of Owls. Even Jim's like,
none of this makes sense.
Yeah. All right. If you.
Yeah.
A lot of things happen, and you're like, all right. If you're prepared to take it as it is, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're not,
I don't know how Butch, who was the Joker's, was the Penguin's henchman.
Yep.
Suddenly, all of like when he got shot in the head and died at the end of season 3, he all of a sudden was what's his name?
Cyrus Gold.
Yeah, aka Solomon Grundy. And I'm like, right, okay. Where did that come from?
Don't question it, dude.
Yeah. Where did his fake name go? Like, how did? Okay, right. It's just like, all right. What we'll do is we have this character. Oh, you know what we can do with this character? Yeah, let's make him Solomon Grundy after. Yeah. Same with there's a dude in season 5.
You're talking about yeah.
Called Arthur, and then suddenly he's Arnold Wesker, Scarface. I'm like, where did that come from?
Yeah,
You know,
he just
if like I think throughout the season 5, Penguin only called him by his first name. So even if you just called him Arnold,
mm.
you wouldn't have assumed he'd become Scarface immediately. Like, you know, when you Edward Nigma, you're like, all right, he's just going to be the Riddler because he's already dressing in green. Like, you know, it's like destiny, right?
It's like not televised. It's
telegraphed.
That's the word. Where I get televised from?
Yeah. I was like, okay,
sure.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, you know, if you always when I'm watching this, I'm always like, if you say so. If you say
literally. So. That's like I said. That's how you can enjoy it. But if you're just like, you know what? Okay.
But the thing is, if it got to, it gets. See, it doesn't quite reach the level of wackiness that I expect it to. For me to accept it, going, this show is insane, right? Yeah. As in, gradually it kind of gets in that direction.
Yeah.
But if they started off like that, I'd be like, all right, well, it's compelling. It's compelling to watch, definite, because they don't know what they're doing, and I don't know what I'm watching. But I have to see what's going on.
See how crazy they can go. Yeah.
I think they started it like some semblance of sanity, and then it just was like, you know what, Gotham gonna do what Gotham gonna do.
Yeah, basically. Okay. Sure.
Yeah, but I think it tips to a certain degree, and I might have to say, I enjoyed. At the end of season 4, they bombed the bridges of Gotham to make No Man's
Land. Yeah.
And I did enjoy the first half of season 5 because it was like it was No Man's Land.
Yeah.
I think towards the end of season 5, because there was only 13 episodes. Well, 12 if you don't count the finale, which is the Batman episode without Batman.
Yeah, the prequels.
Yeah. I think they resolved the No Man's Land stuff a bit too quickly, a bit too conveniently, where Bane, yes, somehow Bane exists.
Yep, I'm the bane of your existence, Bane.
Yeah. Let me get to that, and then we'll lead into what you think about Bane and stuff like that, right? How they got there. But basically, Bane's like, all right, soldiers just murder everyone. Like, the police, there's only... I think they fix a bridge or something. They allow the people to get away, the cops, and then there was only the main cast left there, like Jim Gordon, Bullock, Bruce Wayne, Selena Kyle, and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, we'll hold the ground till the very end to give you guys a chance to escape. That's all the civilians in Gotham from the earthquake. And they come running back through the tunnels, and they surround, all the children surround the main characters, and Bane says, kill them all, shoot them down. And then the soldiers are like, nah, Bane, you're just a bit too much now.
Yeah, like,
I'm going to turn our guns on you, you know?
Because wasn't he friends with Gordon before?
Yeah. What did you think of this Bane's backstory?
It's like I say, wouldn't say I was a fan of it, and if I'm honest, I don't really remember it, so that means it wasn't that like interesting for me to remember.
Okay, like you said, he was a friend of Jim Gordon's.
Yeah.
And for the first couple of episodes he's in there, like basically, Jim Gordon's trying to radio out from Gotham, and they're saying, oh yeah, well basically we're not going to help you.
Yeah. Right? Kind of. He gets talking to a female. We don't know who the female is. Yeah.
And so finally, a female voice gets in contact with him, saying, "Okay, we'll help you guys. Gotham, you're just gonna have to wait a little bit." They send the troops over there, or her troops, you know.
Yeah.
One of Eduardo. What's his name?
I can tell you in a second.
Basically, the guy who's Bane's dad, according to comics, right?
Yeah.
Eduardo Dorrance.
Yeah.
Which in the comics is Edwin Dorrance.
Yeah.
And he's like they were. I think Jim Gordon had to help him out of a Riddler trap, and you're like, they're best buds. Except obviously later on, he's like, nah, I'm here to take over Gotham.
Yeah,
you know.
Okay.
And then they have a little fisticuff fight, and Jim Gordon, I think. Leslie Tompkins, all right,
Oh, we got to
exists
talk
in
about
this.
her crazy
Yeah,
stuff as well later. But go on, yeah.
Leslie Tompkins does exist in this, and him and her and Jim Gordon are in a relationship.
Yep, several times.
But kind of not. At this point, they are because it's season 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
So by the power of love, okay, Jim Gordon basically shanks Eduardo Dorrance into rebar, right?
Yeah.
And then he's left for dead. And I think at the end of the episode, the voice of the military group or whatever,
Yeah.
she saves him. Gets Hugo Strange, man, what a character, right?
He's great because he's played by BD Wong, who's awesome.
Yeah, we got to make a note to speak about him as well. Basically readjusts Bane to be kind of Tom Hardy Bane, but not.
Yeah, that's the best way of putting it.
It's like the way his speech patterns were before seemed normal, right?
Yeah.
And then when he gets his Bane suit on, because it's not like he buffed up or anything like that, but he's kind of like clothing, right, with the venom or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
And then he does the collar grips, and he's speaking like his speech patterns are different, like he is being from the movie. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Or maybe to me it just sounds like that. Whether it is or isn't, it just because of the.
And if I remember correctly, he had like when he started being the breath, the ventilator thing.
Yeah.
He started talking with kind of like an accent, like a Spanish accent as well. I was like,
I don't know, whatever accent that Tom Hardy was speaking in, I think, ish, but kind of not. And
yeah, it was weird.
He is a tank though, because when Toledo Carl and Alfred try to fight him, he just picks up Alfred. He's like, yeah, Alfred can't do much. Even though Alfred's pretty well trained here, right? Alfred can't do much.
No.
He picks up Alfred. Yeah, you think, oh, it's going to backbreak Alfred, except he doesn't. He just kind of picks him up and then runs him into a pole, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Bends him in half, of course. Like, so Alfred at the end of the series is walking with a cane. All right, fair enough.
Okay.
You know,
trying to make this all wrap up to comics, sort of. Yeah. Get it.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, okay. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, basically, yeah. It's best way to put it.
Yeah. And then they used what's it called? So Bruce and Selena Kyle end up fighting him, and they use a device that Lucius Fox created. Not for that purpose though, right? Not that as a because it's not meant to be an offensive weapon.
Yeah.
But the frequency calls bats, or certain flying mammals, or whatever it is, right? That's what they call it. And then the bats swarm all over Bane, and then
Yeah. Like, oh, okay.
He gets done. Yeah.
Sure.
No. Yeah. Exactly.
It's the worst. I love this show so much because it's awesome but stupid at the same time.
Yeah.
That's why I love it.
Yeah. So before we were going to speak about Hugo Strange, what were we going to speak about? There was something else.
Leslie Tompkins weird shift from being a nice lady to insane because of injecting herself with the rage blood. Yeah,
but that's at the end of season 3, right?
Yeah.
So the Court of Owl's mission is to make everyone crazy, or did she hijack that mission?
No, because if I remember correctly, again, I'm going by recaps and bit of memory.
Yeah.
At the start of season 3, she's getting married to Falcone's son.
Yeah. Alberto.
Yeah.
AKA Holiday, but not in this.
Yeah. And then he gets the blood put into him, so he starts going crazy.
Yeah.
And Jim made a deal with his dad saying, like, I'll never kill your son, blah, blah, blah. So they get... Leslie and him get married. They're on a honeymoon. Then he starts spazzing out because of the tainted blood. And instead of Jim just shooting him in his arm to, like, incapacitate him. He falls on, kills him, which sends Leslie all crazy, and then she ends up injecting herself with the rage blood, and then she becomes like a villain for a while.
Yeah. She injects Jim Gordon, buries him under wherever somewhere in Gotham, right?
Yeah.
So she doesn't inject him. She buries him somewhere in Gotham with the vial, right? And says, look, if you want to get out of here, you're gonna have to inject yourself. Here's the thing, though: there's a bomb in X location, and the police aren't gonna find it in time. So you got a choice either to inject yourself and join me as crazy, nutty, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And
your city burn, basically.
Yeah, it's like, all right. I mean, and Jim being Jim, he's like, he values the lives of other people over his own, so he actually
injects himself.
Yeah. Gets turned into, I don't know, kind of a crazy maniac, but not because he's Jim Gordon. He's too pure for that. It seems. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, he he managed to resolve the issue, resolve the problems, and be like, yeah, Lee, you kind of
yeah, I'm gonna help you somehow, and then hijinks.
It's just like, and then in the beginning of season 4, she's, oh my goodness, it's season 4. She's working in a kind of fight in the Narrows, in a fight arena-esque Mad Max sort of area, kind of whatever it is. And then she becomes the queen of the. So then Riddler turns up with Solomon Grundy, not Butch because he's actually dead and now he's resurrected himself as Solomon Grundy.
Yeah.
And Butch becomes, the main attraction because they can't kill him, of course, right?
Yeah.
And she's the doctor for everyone in the Narrows, and then the person who was the Queen of the Narrows betrayed the Riddler to the Penguin, I think, right?
Yeah.
And then the Gotham City Sirens, which is Barbara Keane, Tabitha Gallivan, and Selena Kyle.
Yeah.
Kind of. They try to make another. They're there to get the Riddler, but then there's a double cross deal going on. Anyways, Leslie Thompson somehow becomes the new Queen of the Narrows at that point because of that, and it's just like, all right. And then she has a relationship, but not with the Riddler, because by the end of that season, they end up stabbing each other.
Yeah.
And she's playing Jim Gordon and the Riddler kind of at the same time, but in front of them, so they both know, but they kind of trying to warn each other, but not as well. So it's just like, huh?
Yeah.
She's no good for you. I know, but I can't. But she's not good. Yeah, I was like, wow, all right. And Barbara Keane, this version of Barbara Keane, I can accept do that. It's just like Leslie Tompkins is like, wow, the nightness that's going on here.
Like, there's lots of, again, another random reason why I love this show. Like, going back to like the Riddler and stuff. Okay, people know that Penguin, Riddler are like mass criminals in this world, yeah. But yet they're free to like, hey, I'm gonna run for mayor of this city, and no one kind of bats an eyelid. In this for its entire series, Riddler and Penguin are kind of they're friends, right? They're actually really good friends that are enemies as well. Yeah. Because at one point, I believe the Penguin is in love with the Riddler. Yeah. And he's like, no. But then they later on, so they try and kill each other, but they kind of don't because we have to work with each other to get out of this trap we're in. And then they both have knives that they're going to stab each other with, and they're like shaking hands in the hugs, and then they're like, they were going to stab each other, but they decide not to. And they're like, you know what? If I ever stab you in the back, I'll do it to your face. Me too. And they're like, all right. I suppose that makes a lot of sense. And like, Joker killed the woman that... Not Joker, sorry. Penguin killed the woman that Riddler was in love with, and then got pissed that he got upset about that.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the other thing is, even more hypocritically, so Penguin's mum got killed by Talent Preferred Galavan, and he stewed for years before he got his revenge.
Yeah.
So, okay, wow, hypocrisy right there.
Yep, that's why they're all messed up, because none of them have any logic to them whatsoever.
Yeah.
Gotta love it.
I did like the beginning of season 4 with Sophia Falcone.
Yeah.
Oh, they call it Falcone in this, which is fine, whatever.
Yeah.
Where she's playing everyone.
Yep, she's the best.
And I was like, you know what? The way that she portrays it is like, actually, you can't. Anything she says comes off like you actually believe her.
Yeah.
Until later on, it's just like, yeah, actually, all this was a trap. Even the evidence was all in front of your face, and we were all in denial because of how she portrayed herself.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's actually really well done. I like that. And then, obviously, halfway through the season, because her shenanigans caught up with her, she had to go,
Yeah, she had to get. Yep. Man.
But she was everywhere. People they couldn't help not falling for her charms as such, but just be like, you know what? Yeah, this woman seems to be on the up and up.
Yeah, man, she was one clever woman.
Yeah. Yeah. Hugo Strange. I don't know what's going on with him, yeah, but I do enjoy his. He can't help himself.
Yeah.
He'll side with whoever keeps him alive.
Whoever was convenient at that moment of time, he was side with them. Like, wow, this guy just has no loyalty. No loyalty
but
whatsoever.
The funny thing is, the funny thing he plays it is like not hammy or he's not over the top hammy. He's just like that really cold kind of hammy.
Yeah.
Where he's like, I'm in a cartoon and I know it, yeah, but hey.
But hey, let me just milk this
mad scientist. Yeah, let me just be the mad scientist I was born to be.
Yep. Make everything like the clay face, which was hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, that shit.
What else did he have a key in? I mean, I'm sure he had something to do with the Bruce Wayne clone.
Yeah, more likely. Yeah.
Yeah. He was the one behind the military. So in season 5, Riddler, even though he got stabbed at the end of season 4, right?
Yeah.
Riddler is having hallucinations. He's suddenly alive. He's finding himself in a bathtub and he's trying to work out what's going on. And I thought this was really cool. He's got clues of his blackouts, and he's trying to work out what's happened between them and them because he knows something is wrong.
Yeah.
Turns out he's being controlled by I say the military, but we'll just call it as is. Nissa Al Ghul's group.
Yeah.
To do whatever they ask him to do. And yeah, Hugo Strange is behind that. Because Lee Tompkins got stabbed as well by the Riddler, and they found her and they put the chip in her as well. And then they're like, right, so when Chief Gordon used the what's it called? Defibrillators to burn the chip out of Riddler's head.
Yeah.
And then I think Lucius had to cut it out later on, but it's just like, well, okay, all right. Fair enough. They had to go, he's like, oh, but there's another. And then we just switches to Lee Tompkins talking to Gordon about something because they found it. And then she picks up a knife and you're like, all right, well,
Yeah.
5-second foreshadow. Great.
Yeah. That's what you could give this show. Another thing about this show is awesome. How things just get escalated so quickly. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did not see that coming.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes I don't think they see that coming, and that's why it's just like it's not for like Vince Russo, right? Where it's a swerve for the sake of being a swerve.
No.
Yeah, but it just sometimes feels like they were leading up through the episode, but not through the episodes beforehand.
Yeah.
Oh, but they're trying to go somewhere with it. So yeah. What do you think of Nissa Al Ghul?
I liked her. Like, she wasn't as good as the Al Ghul sisters in Arrow, but yeah, I didn't mind her. She did her job well.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it to be her, if that makes sense, when she kind of was doing her thing.
Yeah, it was just a bit of a. So I thought Jamie Murray, she does a good American accent, but when she revealed herself as Nissa Al Ghul, I think it started getting more shaky. But that's because I think it was meant to be slightly more like unveil herself slightly foreign because the guy playing her dad, Ra's Al Ghul, I can't remember his name. He looks kind of
Middle Eastern.
I want to say Mediterranean/Indian, but kind of.
Yeah, it's Middle Eastern looking.
Yeah, exactly. So I think she was trying to. I don't know. It could be me just projecting, because I was like, oh, maybe she's trying to. Maybe they're trying to kind of get a fine line between her actual ethnic identity and her disguise, kind of. Yeah. But yeah, she had a fight with Jim Gordon, right? Jim, you can't have it. And to be fair, she was beating up Jim, right?
Yeah.
And then pregnant Barbara helps Jim fight, I believe. Yeah. And then Nissa gets stabbed and she slinks away.
Yeah.
And then that's that, kind of.
You're like, oh.
Yeah, but to be fair, I mean, season 5 is wrapping up, so it just seemed like they were supposed to do. It seemed like there was more to it, but there also wasn't.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, oh.
Because okay, you start this bit here, and there's no wrap up to it because your thing's coming to an end. You know, it's like at the second to last episode of Gotham, where the villains are like, oh yeah, okay, we helped save the city, therefore, we are the city, this is our city, blah blah blah, right? And then we'll start our criminal shenanigans.
Yeah.
And then when they skip to the last episode, 10 years later, time skip, Penguin's like to Jim Gordon, I helped you, and then 6 months later, you threw me in jail for 10 years and stuff like that. It's just like, all right, well.
Idiot. Yeah.
Yeah, and then suddenly Riddler was also in jail for years as well. It's just like, yeah.
Plot convenience, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then our boy Jeremiah Valeska was also brain dead for 10 years, quote unquote brain dead. But yeah, the Valeska brothers. What I'm gonna say is this, right? When the first time I saw the episode with Jerome Valeska, obviously you weren't expecting him to be the Joker at the end of the episode, but then he reveals he was the murderer all along. He does this massive grin. He changes his face kind of magically, and you're like, oh, I know exactly who that meant to be. Even though he's got a pasty face, yes, but he's got ginger hair, so completely not green.
Yeah.
But you can just tell by the mannerisms.
Yeah.
And then all the advertising push it. This week's villain is no joke or something like that, right? Where they had to write around everything but not say it isn't and it also is. Because the theory...
Yeah.
Go on.
No, go on. What are you saying?
I was going to say that I think that the theory... How the show creators ran it was... Joker is not an entity at this point. He is an idea.
Yeah.
That will lead to the creation of the true Joker.
Yeah.
But then people are like, well, if the Joker is not the one that's the original, he's a knockoff then, right? What's the logic in that? But I get, if they stuck to their guns with their idea, where multiple people could have been the inspiration for the Joker, because there was in one episode there was a failed comedian, there was Red Hood gang, and the Joker was the leader of Red Hood. If they dispersed it all like that, and you're like, all right, fair enough.
Yeah.
But I think they assumed that people were expecting the actual Joker. The problem is, of course, they didn't have the rights to the Joker, so they couldn't do that. Yeah. And they should have. Yeah. I think they could have went a different way. But then I think also, if you're introducing everyone else, you kind of people expect the Joker.
Yeah. That's like I was
one
saying
of the
before, that they kind of screwed in a way with what they can and cannot use. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I would like to say, if you can't use it, don't use them. But then that would have been you shouldn't really use too much of the other criminals as well.
Yeah.
I actually thought Cameron Monaghan.
Yep.
Was a really good.
Yeah, he's good.
Non-Joker, but essentially he's a Joker.
Yeah. He was a good whatever he was meant to be before he ended up being the Joker, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because like
the thing is, right? Wait. Okay. Which was the better version, Jeremiah or Jerome?
I don't know, because they both had their equal bit. I want to say probably was the first one, Jeremiah.
Yeah. The thing is, a lot of things that happen later on in the seasons make sense because it is Jerome.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. You said Jeremiah was better.
Wait, which one's the first one?
Jerome.
Yeah, sorry, Jerome.
Yeah. A lot of things happen with Jeremiah's storylines that really they should have just been Jerome because it would have just made more sense. It just got convoluted because you're like, well, we said it wasn't the character, and now it turns out we essentially, even though we're writing him as the character, we can't have him as the character because it's not, it's not supposed to be.
Yeah.
So it's like when he had the twin.
Yeah.
That's conveniently there. That looks exactly the same, played by the exactly same actor. It's just like, yeah. So, right. And then Jerome creates the laughing gas, which turns Jeremiah into the Joker, but not the Joker.
Yeah.
And in that same episode, Jim Gordon kills him. Well, doesn't kill him. But I think he shoots him, and then Jeremiah's like, "Oh, well, I have the last laugh by letting go of the what's it called?"
Yeah. The trigger for the bomb, whatever it is.
Yeah. I think then he falls and dies, right? Even though we know from the Fast and Furious movies he should have survived.
Yeah, because no one dies apparently.
Yeah. even though at this point Jerome has died a good couple of times and come back, and here's the thing, right? Because of that, you expect him probably to come back as well.
Yeah. But no.
Yeah. So it turns out that Joker laughing gas turned Jeremiah into the... Well, he's not the Joker either.
No.
Except that he will become that. He turns him white-faced with really, really, really dark green hair almost to the point where it's actually black.
Yeah. And he's more of the... I want to say sane Joker, if that makes sense.
Yeah. A cold one. Like a really... You know what? I don't care about... Not necessarily care about the consequences that will cause chaos, because he's like, no, he's like, Jerome is the one that was unhinged and whatnot. I've got plans.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, I'm a smarty.
Yeah. I'm not a maniac.
No.
But I will murder people.
Yeah.
Like, all right. I mean, isn't doesn't that make you a maniac because you're murdering people? All right.
Hey, no. It does.
Yeah. And then he has a super obsession with Bruce Wayne, even though that's basically what Jerome had.
Yeah.
Like, Jerome kidnapping Bruce Wayne and trying to, make him crazy or whatever. It's like, yeah. But Jeremiah just were like, all right, well, I met Bruce Wayne at the end of, in the middle of season 4-ish?
Yeah.
And then... No, at the end of season 4. Well, yeah, the last few episodes of season 4. And then all of a sudden, I've got this obsession with the guy because I killed my own brother. And I was like, what?
And
then he's like, you're nothing without me, Bruce. And that's when, I think in the middle of... towards the end of season 5, where Jeremiah Valeska hasn't been around in most of the storyline because, he's doing his stuff.
Yeah.
A bit like in No Man's Land, where the Joker wasn't around for quite a lot of it either.
Yeah, he just came and go, and he's like, oh,
yeah.
He is.
And and then they have a fight at Ace Chemicals, kind of.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
And this is where Jerome, he swings, he misses, he falls through the broken fence thing.
Yeah, guard railing. Yeah.
That's it, and falls into the vat of acid. Or whatever it is, right? The green, murky, glowy stuff.
Yeah. Like, oh, there we go.
And then they rescue him. Well, not rescue him, but next thing you see is him on the hospital all bandaged up and stuff.
Yeah.
And then in the 10 years later episode, he is dressed like the Joker. He's got white face like the Joker but like kind of light skin scarring, which I'm like, okay, it does make sense. But his wispy hair, on the other hand, I'm like,
yeah,
I don't know
that
about
threw me
that.
off. Like, that's weird.
There were concept art of the Joker with slick back hair,
Yeah.
like small. I think it was a bit closer to the what was that storyline? The Joker storyline with after Death of the Family. Where all the villains had to. Oh, was it no Endgame? Was it?
I think that's Endgame. That's when, if I remember correctly, that's when him and Bruce Wayne, quote unquote, die, right? And then
yeah. So I think there was some concept art with his hair similar to that.
Yeah.
And I think they got the kind of rights to use him, but not really.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the run.
Yeah.
But I think it was mainly because you can use. They probably was like, all right, we don't want you to overexpose the character, but if you get into your finale storyline,
yeah, go for it, we guess.
Yeah. But stay within these boundaries, right?
Yeah.
So his storyline at the end of like Jeremiah's storyline is he tried to recreate Bruce's family.
Yeah.
By kidnapping a random man and lady off the street, gave him surgery to look like Bruce Wayne, and then throughout the entire No Man's Land storyline where Bruce and the police are dealing with the criminals who carving up territories, which they didn't go into, by the way, too much. I like the idea of it, like I said, the first half of the season, because they were actually carving up territories.
Yeah.
The criminals had different runs of different areas, but they just kind of just didn't go that way after the first lot of episodes. But Jeremiah all this time has been digging a tunnel from Gotham City Plaza or wherever it is.
Yeah.
All the way to Wayne Manor.
Because, you know.
And as far as Batman law is concerned, I think Wayne Manor is like 14 miles from the outskirts of Gotham. Something crazy like that, right?
Something stupid like that, yeah. Like, that
So they've been digging for ages. No wonder why they had to disappear for like 10 episodes or something, right?
Yeah, just to appear back. Ha! We are plot relevant now, so...
Yeah. So they kidnap Alfred using Jervis Tetch, the Mad Hatter's hypnosis, whatever he was using.
Yeah, whatever he was using.
And then they have him start serving the fake Waynes. And then Jeremiah's like, yeah, we're family, Bruce. He brings Bruce in there. And he's like, yeah, we're family. Look, mother and father. And it's like, right, I don't even know where this is going, actually.
No.
You're obsessed with a guy that you only just met however many days ago, or months or whatever, right? And you killed your own brother and tried to replace him, but you kind of saying he is you, but you're like, oh, all right, first it's nutty, yeah, fine. And probably just gives me an insight to actually Jeremiah's madness.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's what they were going for.
No.
Yeah, and then I think at the end of the very last episode, he's like pretending to be brain dead for 10 years.
Yeah, which I thought would get boring, but hey, it doesn't, I guess.
Yeah, he's like, so then when Bruce Wayne comes back, at the penultimate episode, he goes off on his journey, and I think at the beginning of this the last episode, you see him like say to Alfred, "I've been doing this, that, the other," and then it skips to 10 years later.
Yeah, he's like, he's coming back.
Yeah, exactly. And then yeah, like you say, Jeremiah is revived, and he's like, "All right, well, I'm going to terrorize Jim Gordon. I know Bruce Wayne's back." And then he's shanking Jim Gordon in the Ace Chemicals because Jim Gordon has to save his daughter, Barbara Lee.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, do you have any idea of what is the only thing you ever love, leaving you, whatever, right?" And that's when the batarang hits his hand. He looks up. He says, "Who's there?" You see the shadow, the ominous music play. Batman there. Well, no, but the silhouette of him, right? Everyone, Jim Gordon, and Joker, but not Jack, not Joseph, not Joe, not Jeremiah.
Yeah.
Selling it really well. And and then he gets a batarang to the head and gets knocked out. And I was like, okay, that's kind of not anticlimactic, but it's just like, wow, that's very straightforward.
See, for me, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I kind of knew it was going to go this way. Sort of thing.
Yeah. Fair enough, by the way. I was going to say, if you start shooting at him, and you know how when you see Batman dash across the shadows, but not, you could have the lights go out, something whip across, like, you know, where he dashes over through whatever it is, but you want to, you know, whip hand or something like with the camera so you don't really see anything. And then Joker hanging off like a thing all tied up. Yeah, okay. You know, that would make more sense. But no, he just conveniently gets the batarang to the head and knocked out, and that's that.
Yeah. I get it. I get it.
Like you, I think Jerome was the better version of the character. But it just seemed like they decided they were... I don't know. They already said it wasn't him. Yeah. So they didn't want to go back on their word. But it's just like, yeah, at this point you've written him as him, so you kind of... Anything else is going to be a cop-out unless you're going to say... Literally.
Yeah, that's no problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, sorry I had to cut this off. Basically, episode ran long, so we split into 2. So, I'm signing off. Hope you all enjoyed part 1 of our Gotham discussion. And I'll see you in the next part. Adios.